Hi, sexy. This is your definitive guide on the global 4-year liquidity cycle, an update, if you will. Now, if you remember, friends, most people in crypto think that the Bitcoin halving is the reason for the crypto cycle. But what we've actually found out is that it's not the Bitcoin halving, it is the global debt cycle from the government, okay? And I, as your friend, have made many videos about it. Real world assets is just the tip of the iceberg, friends. Crypto will pump due to the money printer. Real world assets is just mentioned here. Why does crypto go up every 4 years? Many videos. Crypto bulls history is repeating. Everything, friends. I've just shown you all this debt. Global liquidity. Yeah, it's all about the secrets of the global liquidity. Secrets! Ain't really a secret, friends. I mean, you go back and check the charts. I've shown you many times. The world economy died. 2008. Every government was like, oh crap, it's game over. So they reset all the debt levels. They go, hey, no more interest, no more principal, no nothing. Let's just pay off this interest stuff over time. So basically, friends, all they did was, the government, all they did was, the US banks, they basically screwed everyone. Okay, this was the S&P 500 did a huge, S&P 500 is down 56%. Yeah, you got that part. Now, at that point, the GDP wipeout here was enormous. So if they didn't stop it, pretty much you've lost, and I'm not joking, 80% of your net worth gone. Instead, what the government did is, this was Ben Bernanke, they go, let's not mark everyone down 80%. Let's not do that. Instead, we'll print money. That's when they first started the TARP and the QE, right? They've never done it before. They go, let's print money. And instead of like slicing everyone 80% this year, we will do the inflation tax. So you basically get sliced like, 5% compounded a year for the next 10 to 15 years, 10 to 20 years. I'm not even joking, around that long. That was 2008. And that's exactly what happened. Yes. So instead of instead of your house going from $1 million down to 200,000, that would have been the fair value of all of these things. Everyone's total debt wipeout, like literally totally finished. Houses in America, they did the collapse, or all around the world, they didn't necessarily all collapse like that, but they stopped, they found the bottom, they come back. But you understand what happened, right? People still lost. We still had a Great Depression. It was just a Great Depression of your purchasing power. Now, when I first spoke about this in 2020, when the zombie virus happened, I was on Facebook groups and stuff out here, friends. Back before Twitter, it was a different time back then. Everyone was laughing at me. Everyone was literally laughing at me. They go, fudster. But no. We did have a Great Depression, Habib. We did. Your purchasing power. Price of orange juice, $10 now. Friends, I went and saw, you know how much an umbrella costs? $40. A large, thick umbrella for a large adult male squirrel, $40. I was about to backhand the lady for telling me the price tag, and I realized, inflation. I couldn't believe it. $40! What? My gosh, there used to be 2 caps in a nightclub. $40 for an umbrella. A walk. Jeez. It's true, friends. So, inflation, yeah, we did get the Great Depression, right? So, instead of your purchasing power looking bad nominally, it now looks bad because the sticker price is expensive, right? Remember, I can make you poor one of two ways. Either I can take money from you directly. That was if they didn't do any money printing. Or I can make everything else around you more expensive. That's what the central bank does. So, ever since then, the governments went, hey, let's do short-term debt rollover. Let's do that. And that's exactly what they did. So it's 4 years. It's 3, 4, and 5 year bond durations. Average is 4 years. Why is it? Who cares? It is what it is. And then Satoshi coincidentally lined it up so that the Bitcoin halving was in the US election year. That's wild, right? That's just how it happens. The US president comes in, they do the money printing round, we have the liquidity burst, and then See, here's the thing, friends. Crypto, we go parabolic up. We go above the mean. Yeah, that's what usually happens in 2013, 2017, 2021. We go above where we should be in the average. Like you didn't even see it in Bitcoin's price chart. We go above, so maybe we're meant to be around here, right? But we go above the average. And what happens is, as we sink down, the stock market's still kind of okay because the stock market never goes parabolic. It's just only eventually the stock market sinks and tumbles us down. That's actually the summary of every single bear market of crypto. This was especially apparent here, which I'll show you again on the other chart, just so you can get an idea of stonks right here. So this is it, right? So you can see, right, stocks, see Bitcoin, friends, goes from, you know, think about it, right? In March of 2017, Bitcoin is $2,500. And then it goes up to 20, right? But then what ends up happening, actually, it's this price on the left-hand side, actually, right here. So it's wild. This Bitcoin's actually $1,000, friends. It runs up, and now its price is $20,000. But then when it comes back down, look, it's still like $6,000, $7,000 up here. So it looks like everything's okay. If you got in, if at the beginning of January, Bitcoin's $1,000, it runs up to 20. And now it's back to like 6,000 or 7,000. Yeah, that's 2018. But it looks okay because, like, hey, man, it's still up. You're still like 5 up, 5x, 6x, man. But we all know how that plays out, right? We know that's a bear market. During this period of time, the stonk market is actually breaking new highs. So this is what happens, right? The liquidity injection comes, stocks go up, and then there's like this little pullback, and stocks have like this residual gradual continuation. But crypto, because like that's how we move, right? Crypto went so far above its mean where it should be, moving average, a 200-week moving average pretty much, that like it downtrends back to the mean, and that's what the actual bear market is. And then like that's the theme, right? Because liquidity has been pulled, because they had to stop it. They had to stop the liquidity because inflation's getting too hot and stuff. Eventually, the stock market gives in, which is this part here, as they're raising rates, and crypto just comes down with it because crypto was already going back towards the mean, the average, and then it actually crashes below it. That was Donald Trump's last cycle. So that might be exactly how it plays out again. They printed money, yeah. They're going to inject more, waiting for China this year, 4-year cycle continuation. Maybe Bitcoin goes to, I'll give you some real numbers, right? Because you got to think about, where did we start? Where did we start this year? We started this year like 100K, right? Everyone's still awaiting their number. So you never know, man. Maybe Bitcoin goes to 300 by the end of this year, right? It goes to 300, 320. And then like by the middle of next year, it's still up like, let's say it's up at like 170. It comes back down and it's like at 170. Yeah. So that might actually be the start of the bear market. But from our perspective, what will everyone be saying? They're like, oh my gosh, this thing is still up 80%. Wow, we're not in a bear market. That's what they'll be saying. But then, you know, this is just because the liquidity has been pulled, because maybe inflation's hot, whatever it is, how the 4-year cycle debt rollover works. Eventually, throughout the year, there is something that appears that goes, you know, all those people who are bragging about being profit, okay, now they're like round tripped. Now that's the pain. That's absolute pain, okay? That would be very, very similar to how it's just always worked in the past. But of course, everyone's going to say this time is different, yada, yada. Now, is the data lining up to this? Yes, Habibi Albi. Yes, they are, friends. And I'm actually going to prove it to you with some Habibi Albi music. Habibi, 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 ya noor al-ayn. Awesome. Okay. Look at this, man. The world central banks, liquidity flows and diffusion. So look at that, friends. See how it's going up already? Do you want to know what this means? This means banks are already doing QE. They're already money printing. But you say, no, but Tommy, but they went on the TV and they told me that they're not money printing. Shh. One more word out of you, you're going to cop it from Spoonie. Central banks only got one button. The money printer button. That's all they have. They pretend like it's 50,000 buttons. It's literally just one button. It's one trick. That's all they have, friends. They pretend it's something else different. No. One trick. Print money. And guess what? Most of them are actually printing money. Now, they're doing it to pay off their debts. Why aren't they telling everybody that? It's because the economy's kind of strong, no one's spooked, and inflation's a bit hot. So they can't tell everybody, get ready to buy Cheerios. No, they don't want to say that. Then the inflation gets even hotter and then it's counteracting. So, you know, this is exactly what happened here as well, friends. Look what happened here. They had, if you go back to 2017, look at this. See, they did this upcycle, money printing here as well. You see that part? This is obviously 2020. You see it, friends? Interesting here, this 2013. This was 2013. But, like, that is... Well, crypto was just early. I'm sure there's other data that you could figure out. There's like, oh, these things are just moving around. Okay, but look at this. Up, up, and now up again. So, it's doing the exact same thing. There's a key missing piece, though, which is also similar to 2017. The key missing piece is China. So, Montgomery has to tell President Winnie the Pooh, you got to print money, bro. You got to print money. So this data what's telling you is, see this debt to GDP and debt to liquidity. See this big gap? It's kind of funny, friends. The world economy, the Ponzi's so big now. I like, it's so funny. Okay, the people making these charts like Mick Hovel and stuff, they don't even look at the traditional like debt levels anymore. Like, it's so far gone. Like, the system is so rorted and rigged now. They had to make a new ratio. Debt to liquidity ratio. Now, what is that debt to liquidity ratio? What it is, friends, let's say you're a gambler and you've gone to the bank because you have to buy a mortgage. Let's say whatever. You have to buy, and you're a gambler. You basically got no money. And the bank's giving you, and your debt's so big now. So in a normal world, you just go, okay, you're making $100,000 a year. Your debt is $500,000 a year. All right, you know, your income to debt is like 0.2, which I guess is a good number, right? And they don't want it like 0.05 or less. They want it like, you know, 0.2 is healthy. All right. But what they've done is they go, okay, screw that. Don't worry about that debt and the income out here. They're like basically going like, okay, your interest repayment every week is like $600. How much of that can you service every week? Don't worry about anything else. Just your bare minimum interest. Like, how much money do you get every week? And the guy's like, you know, maybe he's a mechanic. It's like, well, I've got $1,000 coming in. I can service, that $600. I can service like, you know, maybe can barely service it. Like $605. And they're like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? And like, you see from the sidelines, you're like, oh my gosh. Firstly, this guy's a gambler. Secondly, if he gets sick, if his kids get sick, if he loses his job, if anything out there happens, let's say his car breaks down, he's got a big payment, this guy is finished. Yeah, his minimum repayment $600. He's barely got $605. That's all he's got, and the bank's like, sweet, tick. You'd think that's really, really risky. Okay, this is what is happening to every country out there. Okay, they could literally, that's why that's the global debt liquidity. They print money, they pay off the debt, the interest, and they just keep kicking the can and kicking the can. Now, you're probably wondering, how does this all end? Well, that's why, friends, you're in crypto. How does it all end? It ends by when we are finally getting on the final end of the game. We'd say that actively, if you look at it, it looks like they're killing the system slowly and then eventually fast at the end. All the politicians, central bank, all the lizard people, yeah, they're doing what Roca Negra's doing. They get the money, they buy the assets. They're buying Bitcoin, they're buying crypto, they're buying real estate, they're buying stocks, right? The Norwegian bank is like buying Bitcoin now. I forgot the Switzerland bank. There's like a couple of Switzerland. One of the banks in Scandinavia, they're literally just buying S&P 500 companies. They're just printing money to start to buy the companies. But because they're like small and cool, except for the Interpol stuff, because everyone out there is small and cool, yeah, American government's like, oh, okay, cool. You're printing fiat money, you're taking the shares, right? But that's actually what they're doing, okay? And they're doing this. By the way, Japan's already done it. Japan's central bank owns like 5 or 8% of the stock market of Japan now. So there's like, they print money with one hand that they make for free, and they just go collect the asset. Hey, now I own it. Okay, why do you get to print the money? They go, oh, because the rules are like that. But who made the rules? Why? Why do you get to dilute everyone's purchasing power, press the button, and you get the assets? Let me do it. They're like, no. We make the rules. And then if you ask too many questions, they usually put a bullet at the back of your head, and they call it, I can't say that word. They call it water pistoling yourself. That's actually what happens, friends. US presidents, 3 of them assassinated, shot by the central bank. That's why be careful of J Powell and these other things. But, you know, it's really, you and I can't do anything. But you know how this ends. So the only key missing piece here is China. US ready to stimulate. Eurozone ready to stimulate. Japan ready to stimulate. China's getting cucked because of the high US dollar. So this actually happened in 2017. That's the spooky part. It actually happened in 2017. In 2017, we're waiting for China. China needed to do their stimulations. Might happen right now. Interesting how all this works, isn't it? So you're saying, well, here's the thing, friends. Like, I've gone into the intricacies. You don't actually need to know it. You just like, you step in, you go, crypto's scarce. They can't make more of it. I'm in. That's it. See us. Walk away. Walk away. That's it. Everything else you start to learn, it can FUD you out. But that's why I want to show you. That's why we stay long and bullish. Yeah, and the cycles are going that way. Now, if you want to know something, friends, what I'll do is let's crank it up a bit. All right, now, contextually this year, what we might see as like news catalysts is, well, you see this price of oil, friends. It's a 2-week chart. Say our oil is $70. You know, when Trump was president, friends, I remember in oil, I know it doesn't look like much, but this is a huge difference. When Trump was president, around here, so you remember 2016 and 2018, yeah, around here, oil was like around $50 and you had lower inflation. Yeah, it was around here. The price of oil is now higher. It hovers more like, you know, $80. Now you got to remember, friends, you know, in your weekly wage, I think oil is something like 40% of your entire weekly spending. If you add up petrol, every item you can just, oil's huge. I think it's actually more than 40%. It's something ridiculous. I think like a third is just like renting and living costs, and literally like 40% is oil. Everything. Oil, you need oil pretty much for everything. And you got to remember, man, the average price of oil, my gosh, is 40% higher. So think about it. If you had $1,000 in one world, you're spending $400 on oil expenditures. Now it's $560. You have $160, $160 difference that is getting blown just to cover basic costs still. Yep. So what Donald Trump wants to do is probably going to go and check out Vladimir Putin. So Pooty Poots, as George Bush would call him. That's why he's flying over. They're having a deal. He's going to talk to Putin. Probably going to rub his bald head. Probably give it a licky. And they're probably going to make a deal. Probably a deal with Ukraine. Not me, Crane. Ukraine. Probably going to talk about oil. Probably going to try and get, hey, we want to stabilize the area. Print oil. We've got to cut you a deal. You know? Pretty much you got to get oil down. He helps get the inflation down. Just flood the world of more supply out here. That would also help interest rates come down as well, because the inflation level is lower. Also, a second thing, China deal. Maybe to do some tariffs and eventually maybe a Taiwan deal. Now, we hope there's a Taiwan deal. That might be the white swan. Just saying. Where like China doesn't, China, if Matt doesn't invade, remember, friends, I've got a lot of Chinese friends. Matt's one of my best friends. Matt, if you guys don't invade... I wonder if Matt's watching. Matt, if you don't invade Taiwan, it will be very bullish for all of us. Because if Trump says, look, let's do something with Taiwan. Let's do some sort of temporary, permanent thingamajig. And it might just like make China do a ceasefire thing on it. And once again, that would be more stabilizing of these. Prices are lower, less volatility. Supply chains are okay. So I've shown you all these macro stuff, friends. We've gone through this macro, and I listened to Mick Hovel. But basically, friends, it looks really bullish, man. I mean, look at the stock market, dude. It's literally ready to rip these freaking highs again. Like, it's just, you see this, friend? Look at this. The S&P 500 is still right here, about to blow these all-time highs again. But yeah, you're probably wondering, Somi, what about that others BTC, Habib? I know. Others BTC is still low. It's all come down to that business ISM cycle. I'm just telling you, it's all repeating the same. It is. That final key missing link is China. Mick Hovell did say, though, he's a guy who actually made the global liquidity. He's like, they put all the pieces of the puzzle together and they go, oh, central banks, I know how you're scamming. And they're the ones who like do it. And obviously I communicate it here to you because it's hard to dig into these things. They do a lot of numbers and they're like, you know what I mean? It's all like guys in pinstripe suits and there's library bookcase behind them. And, you know, they fold their legs when they talk. They got the little hickory pipe. You know, it's those guys. It's harder to get like, bro, what are we going to pump the Ponzi or what? I just need to know, man. I just need to know. You know what I mean? Luckily, you got me. Like and subscribe. So it's all repeating. Global 4-year liquidity cycle. Though, one thing. Mickey Boo did say there is an air pocket right now, right here, in this window of time. Air pocket, what does it kind of mean? It means basically America, China, like nothing has been announced of like officially stimulating yet. And like we're hitting the end of the road for them to do it. Where they got to do it. Someone's got to do it. It's got to be China or America, but that's why basically everyone's waiting. It really is, friends. I don't know if you've seen that meme of the Cowboys looking at each other. Thank you to this. I think whoever made it was a Somi fan token. One of you guys made it. There's three Somis of just looking at each other in the GIF. I'll try to find it for you. And what I've actually done, friends, is I have made a tweet now. I've just done this for you, just so we can play the GIF. Okay, this is the GIF. You see this? The three Cowboys. Hut, hut, hut. The good, the bad, the ugly. The good, the bad, the ugly. Everyone checking each other. Who's going to fire first? So this is pretty much it, friends. So you can actually see it here. So first, China wants to print money. Yeah, China wants to print money. They have to. You say, all right, China, Matt, why don't you guys print money? There's a problem. The US dollar's so strong, China's currency is poop right now. They can't print. They're running out of reserves of the US dollar. So, like, if they print, it's like you just, yes, it's going to hurt them even more. Their purchasing power, like, gets destroyed more. So they can't print first. So they're waiting for the US Fed. You might say, okay, then Matt's going to say to me, hey, Somi, tell Jay Powell to start printing. And I'll say, Matt, sit down. Jay Powell's a lizard. All he does is soak up sun and eat those little flies. Okay? Jay Powell from the US Fed can't print because inflation's high. We just had a hot reading, 3%. There's literally, they can't do the official printing. They do the self QE, but they can't do the whole, hey, retailers, it's time to spend money stuff. They can't do that yet. Okay. Inflation's high. Okay, so now what? You go, okay, well, everyone's waiting. When things are getting weaker, what happens? What happens? Well, Donald Trump. So Trump, friends, he's doing the tariffs. He's doing two things. He's doing the tariffs. The US population going to spend a bit less in certain areas. Inflation's going to come down. They'll be able to stimulate. Also, like I mentioned before, the Putin deal, as we went through before. Putin and oil. With those, he basically gets that US dollar down and everything starts to stabilize more. And when that US dollar goes down, China's able to stimulate because they can't do it right now because it's high. And what I'll do now for you is just show you the US dollar chart. This is Dixie. This is an old Dixie boy. Yeah, so Dixie is like at the top of this trend. It's high. Okay, it's high. Considering all these, like it's like they all want to just start going down. By the way, friends, this is like $100 trillion industry. So like the US dollar, like don't be confused, right? This thing just going down here is like insanely big stimulus. This little move is huge, right? So look, this was, by the way, look at this. The crypto bear market ended here when that happened. Okay, that thrust stop. So now that's it, friends. So that's what we're waiting for. So we're just sitting around waiting. Now you probably say, hey, Somi, can we go and wait with our altcoins and Bitcoin? Do we just sit on the sidelines and then when this all happens, you buy crypto? Here's the thing, man. If you're trying to play that game, it's a dangerous game. It's a dangerous game. I don't play that game of like, oh, I'm going to wait for the macro because no one knows it. Because like we're really cheap, man. Like here's the thing, friends. Others BTC might be already here by the time the big moves start happening and then it accelerates into it, you know? That's what you don't know. But Now you have an idea of what actually is come next. Something comes next. Go forth with the friendship and kindness. Like, subscribe, belly button all. Catch you in the next one.